Welcome to A Podcast Divided. I'm Daniel and I'm a Cubs fan.
I'm Andy and I'm a Sox fan.
And this is A Podcast Divided after the intro.
Your Daily Cubs White Sox podcast, the best place for all the baseball debate you need.
And welcome everybody back to A Podcast Divided. Back to the Chris Russo intro apparently. And so today we're going to cover a lot in 30 minutes or ish. Maybe a little less.
More like 15, but yeah.
Here's the thing, right? We're going to be talking about the Cubs missing out on Hader, new targets. We're going to talk about the White Sox, the new stadium updates. That's really exciting if you're a White Sox fan like Andy. And so let's go right into it. So Josh Hader, right? He signs a 5-year, $95 million deal with the Houston Astros. Horrible, deplorable. I don't even know it's negative words can describe how I feel about that. Because, however,
because he's not on your Cubbies.
I'd rather that money be spent on other players, but also Hader. I've talked many times. I made a short. I talked in multiple podcasts about how Hader is the best fit. And always I talked about how if you get him, it's a one and done deal. And I heard people talking about 3-year deals. No. And I ended up being right. I said 8 to 10. It was 9. So
it was 5.
Oh, like you heard it here. Oh, my bad. It was 5. Okay, so we were close, guys. Everyone else, you guys said 3.
You were in the middle with all the other people.
Okay, so maybe I wasn't better. My take wasn't better, but I do think that 5 years, honestly, is kind of sad considering you're spending that much money. And $19 million. I was looking at Fangraphs the other day. That was the exact number that they predicted. And is that a good number to give to a reliever? Look how Edwin Diaz's contract went. Now, I don't think Hader's going to be playing in a World Baseball Classic in some tournament and breaks. I think it was his ankle or something. Get hurt somehow. Not his ankle. I don't know what it was. But get hurt while celebrating because he wins something. I'm not saying that's going to happen. But what I am saying is, honestly, that's a lot of money, and it's a risk. But you know what's a bigger risk? Trading and then re-signing Clase, because you have to give up players. I've said this so many times. I don't want to have to give up prospects and then give them even more money than Hader because Hader set the market. And look, Hader signed his deal today, like 5 hours ago, maybe 4 or 5, and an hour ago, Robert Stevenson, at the time of this recording, it's 9. Robert Stevenson signed. So I was going to talk about him, but yeah, he's gone. So first guy I want to talk about, Ryan. I know it's that sound effect is very deserving right now. However, Jay always comes out on top in his quote unquote flea markets. So, but you can only go so far with flea market wins. So, anyways, yeah, and also the Astros and Dodgers, the two AL and NL teams who are just like, we're gonna dominate. We're gonna make the league unfair. So hate them.
Because they take away players from you.
Yes, they make the whole MLB bad, not just for the Cubs. Like these are.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. I don't like them either. They got to stop winning.
I'd rather Hader be with Milwaukee because at least he's with a team that like deserves him. Like the Astros will just be like another relief. Let's go, Josh Hader. So, anyways, Ryan Stanley,
Brian Presley, and all these other guys. Yeah.
Yeah, actually,
it's enough, dude. Okay.
Yeah, it's enough. Yeah, definitely. So, yeah. Anyways, how we're talking about the Astros closers? Well, this is a guy who was an Astros closer, Ryan Stanek.
Oh, he's Polish.
He has been connected. He's Polish?
Yeah, he's Polish. Stanek is a Polish surname.
So he has a very weird career, and I thought Hader's was weird. This is just crazy. So his ERA is in his career. 585, 298, 397, 340, 548, 720, 342, 115, 409. He's like 1 to 8 all over the
That's
place.
like Polish consistency, baby.
Like, for all I know, he'll have a 7 ERA and then be Randy Johnson. Like, I don't know. But I don't think we're going to find as much consistency unless we get Class A. And like I said, Class A isn't that smart. So maybe you sign like 2 or 3 of these guys who might be good, and then one of them will actually be good every year. I don't know. Like we're on plan. We're not on plan. We're for relief pitching. We're on like plan B, probably. For free agents, man, we're on like C or D. Like we're getting down the list, and we've still got stuff we can do, but we've also still got issues that we haven't filled. In trading for these guys, like that one pitcher in the Dodgers trade, with the Matt Bush trade,
No, Phillips or whatever.
that was just not enough to like say, okay, now we've got all the pitching and we got a manga. I don't think we're gonna sign
Monte, maybe.
Imanaga, right? I hate pronouncing that name, anyways. But I'm gonna talk about it a lot because I'm gonna learn it, and then because he's gonna be so good. So, anyways.
Next podcast, Imanaga choked the season, and also he got a career-ending injury.
Oh no. Okay. So, anyways, you think about this, right? Would you rather the Cubs, if as the Cubs GM, would you rather sign Hader and then get Hoskins, or use the Hader money and add it with the Hoskins money and get Bellinger? Because honestly,
I think.
I'm gonna have to say the Hader deal, honestly.
Yeah, me too. Hader Hoskins makes more sense.
Because here's the thing, right? The Cubs are, like I've talked about a lot, because I love stressing the fact that we were at one of the better teams in this stat. So our offense was really good in run differential, and Andy showed me how. Andy showed me how. Yeah, I mentioned every podcast at this point.
We are so good in run differential. You guys ended up being 11th in the league.
5th in the National League, though. So, yeah. But anyways, so you think about run differential. We have a good offense. Now, that there was some overperforming, but you have to expect some overperforming to win, because unless you're the Dodgers, like, you have to have some things go right. Did everything go right last year? Oh no. A lot of things went wrong, but a lot of things also went really good. No one could have foreseen Bellinger doing good. I actually wrote in my baseball book a tiny bit about how like Bellinger is such an intriguing player. But I was saying that from the sense of like he's like a former MLB. It's like if Tom Brady signed with a rec league football team. It's not like I thought he was actually going to be like a star again, and he could have been MLB if his MVP. He could have been MLB.
He could have been the MLB.
He could have been the MVP in the National League if only he had not had that much competition. So, anyways, that's pretty much I'm going to say right now. So, Andy, you can talk about the White Sox before you have to go. And now I'm going to talk more about the Cubs at the end of the podcast. So, yeah.
All right. So, someone a few days ago, when this whole new stadium in the 78 was released, someone tweeted leaked renderings of a new proposed White Sox stadium. And the funny part is they immediately deleted this tweet, but people still saved it. So now it's all over the internet. It's all over the news. And I'm going to show you guys these renderings. So, and these aren't like fantastic renderings either. These are honestly pretty low quality. So hopefully this will work out and I could share it. Daniel, do you see that?
Yeah, I do have to warn you that last time we did this, that it was your voice would get really laggy every time. So let's try this, but it might not work very well. So I'll tell you if it stops.
Okay, just let me know. Woo! So here's the first picture. If you look to the right, you can see the actual Chicago River, and you can definitely see this, like the stadium is like surrounded by a district, which is empty currently. It's like totally empty, just a bunch of grass. The stadium itself looks very, very, very modern. Like
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
there's glass all over the place. Even the scoreboard looks like almost see-through. So like maybe the fans that live in these apartments can even see it. And in center field, it's hard to see, but they actually implemented the pinwheels, which they need to do for their new stadium no matter what, because it's probably the most iconic thing in Comiskey Park currently. But yeah, you can see that there's like some nice little hangout areas, nice little parks to play catch in with your children or something. A nice little boardwalk too. You can see that they definitely developed the land to create new high rises right next to the stadium. So I'm going to talk about that later. Here's the next picture. You can more clearly see the Chicago River, and it's right next to the stadium. You could also see that the outfield is actually facing downtown Chicago, so you can easily see the Sears Tower and all the other skyscrapers that reside there. Again, a very like modern stadium design for sure. You can see like there's a bunch of White Sox logos all over the place. It's pretty green, which is definitely a contrast from the stadium we have now. It's a concrete jungle in and around Comiskey currently. But yeah, it's super modern. I can't get over that fact. We all know that the modern design is like the edges are always curved. We could definitely see that throughout the stadium. Yeah, it's looking. I'm pretty content with what I see here. In my opinion, I think I was actually watching this YouTube video about the leaked renderings. Depressed Ginger, he was talking about this, and he actually struck up a really good idea. He talked about how the White Sox for their new stadium should use a black and white design. Now that would be slick and that'd be fantastic. It'd be like Allegiant Stadium. It would shine. It'd be something new for the skyline. It'd be great. So I'd love to see something like that. And then the last picture, you can see obviously the Sears Tower over there. And then off in the distance, there's a stadium just surrounded by high rises and apartments. And this really looms and hints at a ballpark village, kind of like what the Cardinals are doing, what the Rangers have been doing, what the Braves have been doing, what the Red Sox are going to be doing, what the Orioles did.
What the Cubs did. Come on.
Not really, technically, because the Cubs, it's kind of weird. It's like a neighborhood that's like all over the place, but it's a lot more natural with Wrigleyville.
It's more the Wrigleyville is more of a marketing scheme that turned into like a semi cool area for Cubs fans.
Yeah, but like all these other places are specifically designed for that particular baseball team's just like it's just an area designed around that baseball team and only that baseball team. You'll see shopping centers, you'll see restaurants, you'll even see high rises, so maybe you can even get a view of the game. So that's basically what we're seeing here with all these like high rises and all these apartments. I'd expect that there's definitely going to be a lot of real estate. There already is kind of close to the 78. And the way, this is actually getting some attention in the media. Even people who are living very close to the 78 are like saying how cool this would be, and they actually approve very much of what's going on. Even older people, aldermen, they're intrigued by this. They know about this, and it's impacting their lives and their jobs. And it even went up to J.B. Pritzker, who, by the way, is the governor of Illinois. So this is really like catching news. This is not just like some like media rumor of like some people just like ranting on Twitter. Oh, what if the White Sox build on Soldier Field? What if the White Sox go to the United Center, go to the suburbs? Or it's nothing like that. That like this is actually serious because Pritzker's getting involved. Reinsdorf is like really getting involved. The people who actually our current owners of the land, of the current land, the 78, they're getting involved. There are actual meetings going on, and there are actual renderings as we've just seen. So, I mean, this is just really a sign that this could happen in the near future, and I truly hope it does. Actually saw a poll that asked, would you want the White Sox to do this? 59% of people said yes. I'm surprised that not more people did. But yeah, this has been getting a overwhelming amount, or like it's just most people are approving this. And that's hard to do because White Sox, they love their South Side, the fans, and I'm included in that. And you find a spot that's on the South Loop, close to downtown, and would still be technically like considered the South Side. Some fans may disagree with that. There's definitely some debate on that, but this is still technically south of the downtown. It's South Loop. So there's that. So this is serious, fellas. This is no joke. So that's what I have to say about the White Sox. Daniel can take it away from here.
Yeah, I've
So
got more to say. I'll keep rambling on for more
right.
like 10 more minutes or something.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So first, I want to ask, what's your opinion on the White Sox, and then I'll get out of your hair.
I think that your point about Wrigley was half true, first of all,
Okay.
because I'm very knowledgeable about Wrigleyville, so that's why I'm kind of comparing it. And you are right that although Wrigleyville wasn't created for the Cubs, it's more like it was repurposed into a MLB
Yes, I agree with
neighborhood.
that.
And for the White Sox to be like creating that whole neighborhood, you should expect it to turn out better in some ways, just because they're building this whole area just for it. But also, I mean, obviously not to discredit Wrigley, but it looks like a great modern design. I did find it funny that you were talking about like the areas for kids to play, the fields, and the big scoreboard, and the big like kind of like a jumbotron, I guess, like
Yeah.
the big screen on the outside in the fields. It's just like at Wrigley, but anyways, maybe some stolen ideas. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Bro, man, just
No, it's a good idea to steal. So thank you, Cubs, for creating that. But anyways, I think it's a great modern stadium. It's a great modern stadium, and I think if the White Sox want to win, it will help them. I guess there have been times when teams have only focused on the stadium, but normally getting a new stadium is associated with getting a better team.
yeah, I agree. I hope
Yeah.
that the White Sox can not only focus on the field, but focusing on the product on the field. That would be
Yeah.
very great. Well, Daniel, I gotta go. So good luck with talking about the Cubs and how they missed out on so many free agents.
Yeah, it's my specialty.
Yeah, it is. All right, see you, man.
See ya, man. Bye. Go Cubs. And we're back on a podcast divided. Andy left. You guys got me. So, Cubs targets. So, I forgot to say this earlier. It's okay, but, I'm kind of not happy that I didn't say it earlier, but it's okay. So, free agency last year on yesterday's date, the 18th of January, the top 50 free agents unsigned that were left. So like from the beginning, the top 50, only 3 people remain: Profart, Chafin, and Wacha. And on the same day, a year later, Ballinger, Snell, Montgomery, Chapman, Hader, Soler, Martinez, Hoskins, Stevenson, Clevenger, Aroldis Chapman, Lorenzen, Urshela, Rosario, Merrifield, and it keeps going. There are a lot more, and that's out. It's not because of last year being a normal year and this year being a slow one. It's because it's that last year was such a, like, free agency wise, a very signing heavy. Like so many signings happened so quickly that free agency was not normal, and it feels weird for everyone to be back to this. Like we actually gotta wait a while to see these contracts, and there are still a lot of people left, and it's almost February, but it's the situation we're in, and that's why you think about some guys the Cubs can still sign just from that list alone. That list is actually from yesterday before the Hader signing and before the Ryan Stevenson signing. I believe Ryan Stevenson. But first of all, just a quick recap. Liam Hendricks and Tim Anderson are two players we probably are irrelevant because Liam Hendricks is going to be hurt next year still. Or still, I don't know if he's still recovering from cancer. I think he's just having surgery, Tommy John. And Tim Anderson hit one home run in over a year and completely collapsed. So we don't need any more of that. I'm gonna read some of these names, but I mean Brandon Belt's a guy a lot of people haven't talked about, but you could argue that's for good reason. Justin Turner could fill that third base hole, but with Bush and with his 39 age. Don't know how realistic that is. Some guys though that have actually been connected a lot. Matt Chapman, former Blue Jay, and he's got potential to fill that third base hole with great defense, with a very average bat. But then also, of course, you've got Rhys Hoskins, who's a guy who who he is on this list, and for good reason. He's a power bat. He's probably going to hit like 30 home runs. Average is average. I mean, he's got a bat that's solid, but like you got to watch out to see like how solid he'll be. Like you shouldn't expect him to be a really solid all-around player, but he's still going to be a big power bat and provide some help at first base. And if we sign Bellinger, it makes a lot more sense, in my opinion, to keep him in the outfield because that's his position. First base kind of just seems weird. I've heard people say that. I've also heard people say that it seems kind of dumb to not use him to his full potential and use him to fill holes. And I also agree with that too, honestly, because I've talked about how the Cubs have so many top prospects who are outfielders, and if you're going to be an outfielder in the minor league system for the Cubs and be really good, the Cubs should make a spot for you. And if there's no spot for you, then there's no point in being in the organization. And if we're just going to keep signing these outfielders, it's dumb. But I think the one exception is Bellinger because Seiya Suzuki and Ian Happ are both players that are on contracts until 2026. So 2027, we could be seeing them leave because both of them, after 3 more years each, I mean, I think we might cut our ties with them because it just doesn't make sense. Like, they're solid, but if the prospects don't amount to anything, we'll re-sign them. But we have the prospects and they'll want money in the contracts they were on. Prospects will be making minimum salary for them all be. And like I don't think that it's smart in any way except for emotional attachment to them to keep them on this team after their contracts expire after the same year too. And then if we sign Bellinger, we'll have 2 holes that could be filled by, in my opinion, PCA is obviously the main one, but then also I think Owen Casey should get that other spot. But we'll see who outperforms the other because there are lots of. No, I'm just not talking about PCA and Casey. I'm talking about all the outfield prospects. Hopefully, some of them amount to some really solid pieces the Cubs can have for years before that we actually have to pay them a lot. Because I know Jed won't want to do that. Let's give PCA $100 million. No, but also there are a lot of stars who I could talk about, but I'm not going to because all I'm going to say about the stars is that the starters are very non-Cubs like relevant, and that is because after signing Imanaga, there's not really a point in signing the other guys who are out there because Snell, Montgomery, there are all these guys, Clevenger. Clevenger's a little lower tier, but he would still be good maybe. He has potential. Stevenson is a relief pitcher. Never mind. But like there are guys out there, and there are more guys who are even lower. And we might get some of those like very subpar guys, but mostly like I don't see us spending more money on a starting pitcher. Excuse me, and for good reason because why would we not help the bullpen when that's where we have the biggest holes on our team? So I think we will spend the money wisely or like if we do spend the money. But we know Jed Hoyer, he's at his flea market as always. So, about the pitchers though, because that's what we're talking about a lot. There's some other guys who have also been connected to the Cubs, and that would make sense who are not Class A. Because, like I said about Class A, I really don't like the idea of trading for him and giving up prospects and then feeling the need to have to sign him because like Billy Bean once said, if you have to make a signing, if you say that you have to make it, then you will make a bad deal. So that's that. But I would also be happy about Class A. But the issue with that is we have to sign him, like I was saying, and that is not fun because he is potentially the best closer in baseball, and especially if he's good with the Cubs for the next few years, which obviously you'd want, his price will skyrocket. Like we might have a $200 million contract for a reliever, for a closer. So, anyways, you think about more guys that the Cubs can sign, and Stanek is pretty old. That is true. And there was some other guys too, like David Robertson, who's interesting because he was the Cubs closer a few years ago, 2021. And that was the first year they made all the trades at the deadline, obviously, selling the team and not selling like the actual team, just like like trading off all the players, So he was actually solid, but he's also getting old. He's 39, and he also doesn't really have the most potential because you've got to think about he's probably going to keep declining, and he already has been declining, and he would be solid potentially, but I'm not really sure how much I trust him. And last year, 3.66 ERA. He's been in the league since 2008. That's crazy. But last year, 3.66. But reason why it's kind of weird to read because after he got traded from the Mets to the Marlins, his ERA skyrocketed from 2.05 to 5.06. So I think that trade probably messed with him a bit. And that's what we saw with Hader though too. But most recently, like 2021 through 23, 450. 450 ERA, 2.4 ERA, 2.36 ERA, 2.70 ERA, 3.03 ERA, and if you talk about the full years totaled, 2.40 and 3.03 are the last two, and then before that 4.50. So his past 2 years have been exactly like pretty much 3 or under that. And I do have to pull back a little bit of the comments I made about him because he actually has potential. And also, by the way, that year with the Cubs was 2022, but he has potential. Honestly, looking at these stats a little bit more. But I also expect decline, and I also know that we have guys in our bullpen already who maybe could give a 3 ERA. But I'd like to have oh wow, I keep mixing up his name with Robert Stevenson. Yeah, I'd love to have David Robertson, and having him would not be that big. But if we sign like 2 or 3 of these David Robertson type of guys, then maybe we can put together a bullpen good enough to hold the lead every time we get one. Then we'll get in the playoffs. So that's that. And hitters wise, it's the same deal. We got Hoskins, Chapman, Ballinger. Pitching wise, yes, we could get Aroldis Chapman. I just saw something about how technically Chapman is very affordable, potentially, but it depends also how much he'll ask and how much Jed will want to give. But ideally, it would actually work getting him if we get a good deal. But there's also Neris, there's Matt Moore, Jacob Junis. Oh, not Jesse Chavez. He was the guy who was horrible a few years ago. Oh boy, yeah, he was bad. I went to a game. He choked the lead. We took out Stroman. That was Stroman's first ever game back when he was a big deal. First ever game with the Cubs. He's pitching. He's got allowed like 2 or 3 hits, and it's the sixth inning, and they take him out, and he's out under 90 pitches, I believe. And they bring in Jesse Chavez, who's like a 4-year-old journeyman, and he comes in and allows 5 runs or something, 3 or 5, and gets one out, and that's what makes us lose the game. Yeah, David Ross, actually, that is giving me some bad memories of David Ross. That's where we're gonna end it. So maybe I'm actually happy he's out. But anyways, thank you guys for listening to this podcast or watching or whatever. And yeah, if you want to see more of our podcasts, then subscribe if you're watching this far. So yeah, thank you again, and goodbye.